8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Hello,
14.
everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Mashin Sentai Kiramager.
It was you this time.
Yeah, it was me this time. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is.
Right, and welcome to the episode about Ogre Hyakunin Ishu, uh, which is a card game in Japan where the cards are each their own poem, and there's like 100 of them.
This doesn't sound fun to me in any way, shape, or form.
It's it's a weird one. So how it works is that well, I guess the actual game is called Uta Garuta, and it's just the Hyakunin issue that are used for it. Uh, but yeah, they are a specific type of poem, and you have two sets of cards. The ones that have the full poem on them, and then ones that only have like the final end of the poem on them. So you have those ones laid out in front of you, and then the reader starts reading the poem, and you have to find the matching like phrase before they finish, or before your opponent gets to it first. Uh, and a common tactic apparently is to just fucking slap it off the fucking board.
Which I'm wondering how that works necessarily.
Because, like, they're slapping like 4 or 5 cards all at once and saying, I got the right one.
Like, and I kind of watched it when they did the whole, like, slow mo ones to it. I can understand it if they're slapping that card and then any card to the left.
Right, that's what I was assuming what was happening. But
But no,
how.
she slapped the entire row. Like an entire row when she was supposed to slap the second card from the right. She ended up slapping all 5 cards instead of just that one and the 3 others. And I'm like, yeah, no, how do you know?
Like, I guess you could argue that, like, she just aimed poorly, but, like, still hit the right card in there. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a more efficient way to play this. Like a game of like hands down where you just slap your hand on it. That way, if you both go for it at the same time, whoever hand is actually touching it is the winner.
Like that would make sense.
But you know what?
Japan.
We don't live in Japan. We don't know how they do.
So, aside from the finer points of the rules with that, because I'm sorry, it just seems like cheating to chuck an entire half the deck off the fucking playing
Legit,
field.
like there are times where it
Claim
looked
you
like
hit
they
the right one.
it legit looked like there were times where she just swept half the board off and said, "I win."
Like the closest I get to like a legitimate one was when what was it? She hit the last one off, and it kind of flung up and smacked to the camera. Fine, very much that's the correct card. But you hit like 13 other ones. Shut up, you cheating ass.
I wonder if it was like maybe played up a bit for the show.
I really hope so, because that just seems like a nightmare of a setup.
Right.
Because at that point, it's a game where you literally have to reset the board
Like
after every round of play.
like this is a game about reaction time. You listen to the poem, you look for the correct correspondent, and you slap it. But like the metagamers will have all of the poems memorized, so that like they hear the first like 4 syllables and they're like, "This is the answer."
Which is very much the whole point of this episode.
Yeah. So this is a scene episode, and the whole thing is that like she's really fast. So fast that she jumps the gun and hits the wrong card.
The sad thing is, the way it finally gets explained, it's not a bad thing she was fast.
Yeah, do we just want to skip to that part?
Yeah, because the whole game thing is just fluff.
All right, so like her old rival in the game like shows up out of nowhere and fucking mocks her for no reason, even though Senna doesn't play the game anymore. Because she's a fucking coward and is actually afraid of how good Cena is at the game. Because like Cena's reaction time is just too good. She's really fast. So like the rival would like go for the card and Cena would see her going for it and fucking slap it out first. And so the other girl started playing mind games with her by like intentionally psyching her out by going for the wrong card so that Cena would hit the wrong card and the other girl could go for the right one.
She was too scared to lose. Like this is the point of the and it's not so much the Japanese mindset too, because I know people who are like this. The whole I don't want to lose things is a game is just dumb. Now I fall prey to it with like video games and stuff like that, but that to me is a whole different thing. But for a game that's supposed to be friendly and whatnot, it gets to a point where people take these type of games way too seriously. If you don't believe me, hey, everybody, sit down with your families and play Monopoly.
Um,
And
so
see how long it takes before somebody wants to flip the fucking table over.
so this game actually does have a competitive scene though.
Right, which I do understand. And I understand coming up with tactics to, just like with any other game, you'd figure out who your
You
opponent is
you're
and find their
like she's
find their
literally playing
flaws.
mind games.
Right, which is about the only way that I feel that you could do any good in this game at that level. If you're good enough to compete in this game, I'm sorry, you memorize
Hell,
shit.
even the person reading the poems has to do it a specific way with like pacing out those syllables and such. And like you're not even allowed to do read the words unless you're a top tier player.
Right. So the whole thing it's a weird hierarchy thing because Japan loves hierarchies and I'm sorry, my mom just snuck past.
Like I wasn't looking, and so I just caught the shadow as it was going off camera.
um, unfortunate with my current setup to use the monitor. Um, the the way the game works, like yeah, it's 100% clearly you have to play mind games or you're not gonna win. Because if you're at that level, that's all you can do. Everybody, it comes down to reaction time and how well you have everything memorized. If you're high enough to play this in competition, you probably got everything memorized, so it comes down to reaction time. At that point, if your reaction time is slower, you gotta learn to like fake out whoever you're playing, and it makes sense. But damn, this game would piss me the hell off. Like it's to the point where, like, at the beginning of the episode, the monster stuck a bunch of these cards to people and are using them as explosives. So hey, we're back to attempted murder. Way to go!
Right. So they have to knock the card off the person before he finishes the first passage, or they explode on them.
And like the way I guess the game works is once you hit the fourth syllable, you should be able to find the right card that matches it.
So the reasoning behind that is that some of the poems will have similar beginnings, and so
With different endings.
right. So like once you get to the fourth syllable, it's like at that point is where a difference will kick in, so that if you're stuck between two cards, like that fourth syllable is like this one.
Right, and they do a good job of explaining that in the episode, and actually coming back to explain it further. It was just this was such a weird game.
Also, when we say syllable, like we're referring to Japanese like phonetics, like it's their language is really difficult. For
So like
in the English equivalent would just be words.
yeah, for the equivalent. Um, because with the Japanese, like yeah, you can say three different words, but depending on how you pace those words, you may only say one because of how words match up. Because like itchy,
Catastro. Like
yeah, it's paced out
it's
like that.
it's kind of like that where it's like yeah they're spaced out, and so what you might think is one word is actually a different word. So it comes down to like listening to what the reader is saying while scanning the cards for whatever matches.
Right,
Which is why
eh,
top tier players just fucking memorize everything.
right. Because if you memorize everything, by the time you hit that where the differences would be, you'd know which one the card is. Um, but yeah, basically Senna gets all depressed because they're, you know, old rival is back, and they used to be friends.
Until one friend got
Until
too competitive.
yeah, which is I feel is kind of a legit thing. Um, just and then it's to the point where they just decide, hey, I'm gonna go drive my mech down the road
Yeah,
while explaining this problem.
I didn't even register that they were just taking the mech for a joyride.
No, it's not the first time that the mechs have just been out and about. I mean, Yellow's was literally off.
No, but that was on its own. I'm talking like they were literally just driving them
Right,
down
they
the
just
road,
literally just
just
yeah, it's like
as a regular vehicle, which is probably illegal.
right. And I'm pretty sure driving a 4-story vehicle is also illegal.
Like I'm sure no one's
Probably more
complaining.
so.
I'm sure no one's complaining when the giant robot is fighting the giant monster, but like this isn't that.
Like this is one of those things where like Deca Ranger did a good job of like explaining. Well, actually, a lot of the Sentais that had like the secret bases that launched the vehicles and stuff that were like semi-public knowledge, where like the roads shifted and all that, so that way none of the vehicles ran over cars or anything like that. But I just feel bad, especially for like this season, who for the people who are just out for a day, nice leisurely stroll, and here comes a 4-story mech driving up your ass. Just because somebody just wanted to go for a ride.
I mean, Juru's in high school, so I don't think he has his own car. So this is fire truck, pseudo fire truck, giant magic red gemstone fire truck.
If it was his truck, I'd be fine. It'd be fine.
It
Because at
technically is
least then
his
you
truck.
can. They're in her car.
Wait, they're in C. Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're in Senna's car.
Maybe she doesn't have
That's
her
what
own
I
car.
like. I'm like,
No, okay,
if they were in a
okay.
fire truck, that would make sense.
Actually, if they're in Senna's car, then her gem was probably just worried about her.
That's what it was. It was because
Like,
that whole interplay of them like finding out what was going on, the gemstones with
which is
Mabashina and them.
like it speaks to the role that the gems play when one of them actually does something and I completely overlooked it.
But it wasn't the gemstones' decision to go, um, to go for a drive. It was literally Senna's because she literally just grabs it from Mabushina and says, "Let's go for a drive." And then they get in, and she explains everything to Juru.
Who just kind of followed her.
Right.
Um, so Makino trains the other Kiramagers in the game, and gets them past beginner level before the monster shows up again to challenge them to a little one-on-one. Loser gets turned into a card though, and by the time Juru and Senna show up, like all the other Kiramagers are gone, like Makino is on her own now, and then she loses, because they fucking changed the cards mid-game.
Right.
And like
What
not
an
not
asshole.
even like change them, like shuffle them around, like change them into like completely new cards that she hasn't memorized.
Which, I mean, they're monsters. What do you expect? The fact that he played legit for that long amazes me.
I mean, play to win, but like he was winning legit at first because
Oh,
he was
right,
he
absolutely.
like no joke, he was literally playing against beginners.
Right. This would be like you playing chess against a 5-year-old. Of course you're gonna win.
And then mocking the 5-year-old for losing.
I mean, wouldn't you?
uh,
Um, but yeah, it's like the fact that the way the game played out terrifies me in of itself. Because wasn't it? Did Garuza show up before or after she started playing? Not saying the
Machina.
her friend
Um,
Machina.
so like when she gets involved at the very beginning of the episode and Goro's hasn't showed up yet, but then when it comes to
Like the actual game.
the actual game, Garuza shows up right away because he's going to be the card reader while the actual monster plays.
Okay. How bored was he?
I...
Because I mean, apparently insurance is very boring.
He doesn't handle the insurance. Oh.
But he's got to watch it all.
Oh. So I was giving him the benefit of the doubt of like, okay, he's actually helping the monster of the week, like, go for their goal. Like he's actually getting involved. But you just calling him out like that, like, oh, I didn't expect
But
that.
I mean, that's how I look at it. I get, yeah, he's being helpful because it does solidify them being able to cheat. But that's literally all he does. But then,
he's
which again, there's no
he,
fighting in this episode aside from the very beginning and the wrecking the monster. Because
he's doing his job. I don't know what to tell you.
it's so weird though, like
Yeah, a general doing their job.
well, yes, that too. But like, take Lupat for example.
Right.
Because it would be an easy way to do this.
What was his name? Destra.
Yeah, this would be like Destra decided to show up and read the shit for a card game.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
And completely, what the fuck just happened? Because at that point, we all would have went, he was fucking bored, wasn't it? I mean, I guess he got bored with his hate training.
Nah, like we find out later, like he was coming out into the field to use it to like test it out, and like he wasn't going to interrupt the monster's fight though. He at least has that going for him. So he's like, I'll just help out the monster, and whatever happens, happens. Oh look, the monster lost. My turn.
Right. Which I do like. I like the fact that he's helpful, but he's not going to get in the way. Like, he's not going to force, well, aside from the one where he literally forced things to happen.
That was just his brother complex kicking in though. Like he was biased about that one. This one he has no emotional investment in.
Right. Like, I liked the fact of having a general of some sort going, do what you do. Oh, you want help with this? Okay, cool. I'm not going to interfere. I'm not going to go, this is a dumb idea. Despite the fact that it's a dumb idea.
I mean, this was a unique showdown. Like, instead of a fight, it's like, no, they're playing a game.
Right. That ends with, bullets in the ass.
Yeah, like the standard Yu-Gi-Oh. Season 0, man.
This is what happens when you challenge Pegasus.
No, man, like fucking season 0, Yugi straight up kills people when he beats them at games.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh man,
Then again, I haven't watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh.
like the original manga for Yu-Gi-Oh, the creator didn't want to. He wanted to do like a combat anime where people were facing off against each other, but he didn't want to do like another fighting one because that had been done so much. So he decided to make them fight each other by playing games. And the kicker is Yugi's like penalty game whenever they lose, and like he just straight up murders people in some of them. Like there's this like criminal that breaks out of jail and then like holds up a fast food joint where Taya started working, and he like takes her hostage and makes Yugi bring him some food. So Yugi does that, and then but like the criminal hits Taya, so Yugi's like, "Hey, I'm gonna challenge you to a game. Here are the rules. We can each only use one finger." And so the criminal's like, "All right, my fucking pointer finger, so I can pull the trigger at any moment and shoot you." And Yugi's just like, "I choose my thumb," and then pulls out a lighter, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, my lighter, a cigarette, like, guess you can give me a light before you die." And the whole time, like, he's pouring himself, like, some moonshine or whatever. And so Yugi, like, goes and lights his cigarette, and then uses his thumb to, like, push the lighter down on the guy's, back of the guy's hand while he's pouring his drink, so that, like, if he drops it, it'll fall into the alcohol, like, 100% proof, and catch fire, and like he can't move his hand, so now the glass is overfilling and spilling onto his lap, and so now he's dousing himself in basically fuel until he just is agape, and so his cigarette falls out of his mouth and lands on his lap, and boom.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, season 0 was fucking brutal, and they made the anime for it, but then they made a separate anime that is the one you actually have seen.
Okay, so what you described is like 1,000 times better than what I watched. Sounds 1,000 times better.
And like the stuff with Kaiba, like Kaiba is actually a psychopath at first. Like he tries killing like Yugi with a guillotine.
Okay, I need to go find this.
Yeah, go watch season
This-
0, dude.
This sounds much better than what I watched.
Oh.
And also, okay, yeah, it took me a second to remember how we got to Yu-Gi-Oh from Kiramager.
Brutal card games. Or yeah, brutal
Yeah.
games in general, like fucking season 0 Yugi wasn't fucking around.
But yeah, like I do love the fact that Garuza literally went, "You're losing. Sucks to be you."
Yeah, he had
And
no
then, of course-
emotional investment. He was
Yeah.
He wasn't interfering. He was kind of helping the guy out, but like once the guy lost, like yeah, that's it.
So it's like, I hope you got enough dark energy or cashed in an insurance policy, which turns out they can use an insurance policy for this, as Carantula so kindly pointed out to us.
I guess it's just because of how weird a situation it is.
Yeah, because he goes, "Oh, we can use it for this." God, Carantula's a weird general. Like, to me, Carantula is basically the let's make the monster grow villain. As of right now, that's Carantula's entire plot line is he's the Lucky Roo.
Oh. Oh.
Like, and then of course, Garuza shows up to help out the giant
Yeah, so
Jumanji.
so Cena does win the card game just because like she waits for the monster to go for the card and then she beats him to it.
So basically, she uses the same tactic the other woman was using on her, which is not quite. Well, yeah, no, that was a one-hand loss, anyways. So never mind on that. Because it wasn't until she lost that it was revealed that they were cheating.
Right.
Never mind. Because I was going to say, why didn't she do that? And I'm like, oh yeah, she didn't know they were cheating until after.
Yeah, no, she pulled what would have been the right card until they like reveal they're like no, they're playing with different cards.
Also, on a side note, can we talk about that henshin?
Oh yeah, Green takes the lead in the roll call. It's great.
Green. Not only does Green take the lead in the roll call, they don't do the weirdo pose. They actually pose normally.
And they do the play on the game where
And
they say their phrase like slow and paced out, like the poems would be read for this game.
it, it, it was, I will give it credit, it was a unique idea.
And what I especially love is that Cena starts off doing that first, and then the others chime in once they realize what's happening.
Right.
Nice little detail there.
And then Cena becomes a pirate.
Okay, so we do get an actual bit of two bits of lore from this. So first off, Garuza intentionally puts civilians in harm's way, where Cena calls him out as a coward, and he's like, "Yes, okay, getting called out entices my anger, which brings out my power. So now we have a better understanding of how his powers work."
Right, his Jiro mental or whatever it is.
So he basically.
So,
Uh,
we can basically safely assume his power is a literal hate boner.
yeah, he thrives in adversity. Uh, and then the second thing is he comments on the power of the one of the four legendary crystals. So that's obviously the white speed train. Does that also apply to his dino train?
I'm not sure. Seeing, I would think, except for the fact that the white train literally exists to keep that one in check.
Like,
Like the whole, because the king had points out, or the Mabashina or king had pointed out, whichever one it was, it pointed out that literally it only exists in case this got taken.
like he refers to it as the Speed Titan too. So like yeah, the bullet train is very much one of the legendary four. The real question is come down to is Dino Train also one of them? And also, what are the other two going to be?
Oh well, probably gonna have Power Titan.
Oh, you know what? Wait, what's Power Titan?
I
Oh,
don't
because
know.
Speed Titan, Power Titan.
Speed type,
Okay.
Power type.
What if the Dino Train is Power Titan?
Like it would make sense.
And also,
If
you've got the parallel of like white and black.
right. The only issue I have with it being Power type is it can't overpower the speed in any way. Because they literally just hijack the damn thing. I feel if that was the Power Titan, they wouldn't be able to hijack it within a minute.
I'm wondering if the new members mech is actually going to be one of the legendary ones.
Yeah, we still haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's weird. So we've gotten scans that confirm who it is. Like we know who the actor is, we know who the color is, we've seen some of his fancy toys. We don't know what his mech is.
Right. It's odd. I will admit, without going into detail, I kind of like his weapon, but I really only hope they use it like grease. Put it on the back of my head. Put it on the back of his head. But I don't know. I'm interested in seeing what the other three are, and whether or not we'll actually see all three of them. I mean, I highly doubt we won't, considering
You don't drop
that's easy toy sales for Toei.
right. You don't drop a comment like that and then not address it. Maybe in certain anime, like that would be like a mystery that you keep a mystery, but not in Sentai. Like that is a mystery that you keep a future toy sale.
Or Kyuranger. There was a fair bit that got dropped in Kyuranger, and or that proved to have no consequence.
I mean, Kyuranger was pretty front loaded, so that doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, with it being this early on, it's unlikely that we won't see them. The fourth one will probably be, for lack of a better term, the Ultra Zord. Or what leads to the altogether form.
Yeah, like what was it? Raw Gigas in Kyuranger.
Yeah. Uh, the sad thing. Huh.
What's up?
Springtime Bonnie left a comment, and it is technically a spoiler.
Well,
Um,
is it about the new member?
yeah, it's about the new member. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to hear about it, cut out for like the next 30 seconds or so. Silver's mecha is a drill, according to Springtime Bonnie.
Oh, that makes sense because of his weaponry and like his whole theme going on.
Right, it makes sense. And uh, that buys Daniel guy said Quran login style mech. I love that.
Yours is a drill that will pierce the heavens. Or at least the moon.
Apparently, in this case, it pierces Crystalia. I just need Silver to get here so they can unload that backstory.
Spoilers.
To see how well spoilers to see how much it matches what's been released and what's been said about the character.
Um, so the episode ends with Cena reconnecting with her old friend, and then the next episode preview. Remember that part where Shigeru Blue, if you don't remember, is an actor?
Yes.
Yeah, famous actor. So, actually, no, he's a stunt. Is he an actor or a stuntman?
He's an actor.
Okay, well, he has a fangirl.
Well, he's
like,
an actor, but he's also like he does his stunts.
Okay, so he's not just a stunt double. Okay.
No.
Okay, well, he has a fangirl, and I think the villains are gonna like give her magic or some shit.
I will admit I watched it and I had Death Note flashbacks.
Oh yeah, Pup Diva Misa Misa or whatever.
Yeah, because she's got that very gothic look to her, which I get is the whole point of making her look disturbing. Because apparently that looks disturbing.
Also,
I think it looks hot, but that's me.
I noticed in the preview that like I almost called Pink Asuna.
I mean, to be fair, how long have we been calling Pink Asuna?
About a year.
So,
was it Sayo?
Yeah, it's Sayo.
I noticed that Sayo is also prominently featured in the episode, so I think this is going to be a bit of a twofer, like with her as, like the supporting lead for the episode.
Yeah, the one who helps him get out of the jam, before Juru helps him get out of the jam.
Oh.
God, the unnecessary of that. Like there are times in Sentai that I go, I really wish Red wasn't here for this.
Yeah, but Kyuranger is gone. Okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Uh, all right,
But I
so
guess that pretty much wraps it up for
yeah,
this.
thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for Kamen Rider Zero One. That's a hell of an episode. Uh,
God damn. That's gonna be fun to discuss.
and we'll be back next week for more Kiramager. So thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all for joining. We will see you next time.